Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of a band that's been putting out music for longer than 30 years. And some of you that may be listening to this are not even 30 years old. And so this band has been making music for longer than you've been alive. And we're going to talk about that later in the show because we have two guests on today who are going to talk about their journey. And that's what we do on this podcast. We talk about the fan experience behind the Dave Matthews Band because there's so many different experiences within this one thing that we call a band. And so we talk about the fan experience, how in the world people found the Dave Matthews Band, whether they found them in 1991 when they started in Charlottesville, Virginia, or along the way in their over 30-year history of making music. And so this is a great time to find out about this band. If you have never heard of them before and you're listening to this, they were actually just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year in 2024. So this is a great time to find a band. There's so many examples. I could give you a list of reasons why you should check them out. The fact that they're even still touring it's an amazing thing. So definitely check them out if you haven't. But if you're listening to this podcast, that's what we're going to talk about is the one band that we love so much, the Dave Matthews Band. So today I have two guests on my show. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, tell us who you are, where in the world are you, and just tell us something about yourself.
My name's Elisha, and we're from Wisconsin. And other than Dave, I love horseback riding and reading. So there's a lot of horseback riding and listening to Dave personally.
My name's Cole. As she said, we're from Wisconsin, so
What's something fun about yourself?
baseball. I'm really big into baseball.
Yeah. Have you been playing baseball since you were small?
I started when I was 9.
Yeah.
So Wisconsin,
Yes.
it's a cold state for the most part, except in the summer when you have some beautiful things happening at your state.
Yes.
So you live close to a venue that a lot of people have heard of. Tell us the venue that you live close to.
We're about 20 minutes away from Alpine Valley, which when I started listening to Dave, I didn't realize how big Alpine was. That was my first show. And then I didn't realize, like, when I started talking to people and we're like, oh, yeah, we're by Alpine. They're like, what? That's amazing. And I'm like, oh, it's just home to us. So, and it definitely makes sense after we've seen them at other venues why Alpine is so amazing.
It is amazing. I've only been there once, but that's all it takes to get you hooked. When you talk about spending money to vacation, if you will, use vacation days, PTO, whatever, get a babysitter for the kids, take care of the farm, whatever we have to do when we leave. Like, what are we really going to Wisconsin? I was so pleasantly surprised by Alpine. Of course, it was one of those venues that just being within like all the groups of the Dave Matthews Band online and stuff, they constantly were talking about it. So just that curiosity was piqued of like, what in the hell are they talking about? Wisconsin, and it's a 2-day event. And like, why is everyone going crazy? Like, is it the cheese? Is it the beer? Like, because that's what I know about Wisconsin, right? And yes, it is about those things because we tried Spotted Cow beer, I believe. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm not a beer drinker, but like it's only sold in Wisconsin. And so it's a huge deal to have a Spotted Cow and people love it. And then like try to like anytime people go visit other people, they're like, bring Spotted Cow because it's just like amazing, I guess. But Carbless is like that now. So Carbless is a White Claw type drink that I did not realize is only in Wisconsin until I went to Arizona and I couldn't get it. And so, yeah, I found out that Carbless is a Wisconsin thing and not available anywhere either. So if we drive anywhere, I bring it with.
Yeah, I'll have to try that. Hopefully, I will find my way back to Alpine. But what is it do you think that, and I want to hear since you're like officially from Wisconsin and like you grew up, and like you said, it kind of is not that big of a deal to you because it's just it's home. What do you think is that people see in Alpine? Like, what is it about Alpine?
I don't really know, except it's kind of gorgeous as far as it's this huge basin. And, it's just fits so many people, and he just puts on great shows, and it's just kind of became a great place to see him because no matter where you're at, you get to see it. Um,
Right.
Chicago, Northerly Island. If we hadn't got reserved seating this year, we probably wouldn't have went, but it's just flat. And you're like, you either watch the screens or you can't really see anything because it's just flat.
Uh, oh
Um,
yeah.
but we still go because it's not just about seeing Dave. It's just the whole experience, honestly.
People.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
people, the people are awesome, and it's just a whole culture. So we still go, but we're not as happy about it. So I think it's just the how big it is. Um, and it's like I haven't been to Gorge yet, but every time I see Gorge, it looks like that. And then we love Deer Creek because it's a mini Alpine because it's a little bit
Yeah, I can
smaller,
see
but
it.
it's a mini Alpine, so it's still cool.
So we went to Alpine. Oh, it just so happens. I don't know if y'all can see it because I'm not for sure exactly where the camera is, but can you see the poster to like that I'm pointing at right now?
No, we can't. It's just on the screen.
Oh, let me move the camera. I think this is worth mentioning. Let's see.
Oh yeah, yep.
If
I
you're just
think
listening to this, you're like, what the hell are y'all doing? You can watch this on YouTube and see everything, what you're going to want to do. So be sure to check out the Space Between podcast on YouTube. So do you have this poster?
no. So I didn't get into posters until 3 years ago at Mexico. So I didn't get posters. I didn't really understand what people were talking about the posters.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
went to Mexico and I got Every Night and the Triptych. And then I kind of went overboard and got cut off from posters. And then I was allowed one at Mexico this year, so I only got one. But yeah, I kind of like posters now. So
I do too. And I'm the same way. I really wasn't in the game. And honestly, not a collector of anything in general, just not a collector of things like what people collect stamps. I don't know. What do people collect stamps? That was like the oldest thing I could have said ever, right?
clocks. Some people collect clocks.
What were those? Do you remember what those stamps were? The green ones, and they were like you could save them up and trade them in for stuff at a store.
I don't
Does that
know.
sound familiar to you?
No.
Green, some maybe I grew up in a different universe. Maybe it was just part of like I don't know. Anyway, so I didn't collect anything, and then I don't know what happened. It was just
Dave
as if
happened. That's what happens.
the day was in my life. That's how I say it, but it sounds so personal, and it's personal
It
to
is.
me, but it is not to him. But like, yeah, now I look at these posters and I think of that specific day, and it reminds me. It doesn't necessarily remind me of the music. Some of it does, especially like certain concerts. But it reminds me, like you said, of the people, of like the people that I was surrounded with when I went to Raleigh in 2021. I remember the crowd. I remember things about Dave and what he did and how he cried on stage in 2021 after his first appearance back after COVID. Like I remember the music, but I remember more about the people.
Right.
And I love that. And so, of course, that's why I started this podcast, is because I thought, well, Jesus, we were all brought together because of this music. That's what got us here. But then, and that's what keeps us here. But it's the people too. And it's too good of a story to not be documenting. So thank you so much, guys, for being on the show. And we're going to talk about how in the world you found this band, because again, everyone's story is completely different, whether you just found them, in 1991 or whenever. We all have our own individual stories. It's just amazing what this band has done that I don't even think that they can understand. I mean, I know that they know the impact, But being on the other side, they've done so much for people emotionally, and spiritually and physically, and just made us happy. And the fact that they were able to do that for so long and continuing for so many people is just an amazing story. So let's talk about yours. Where in the world did you ever hear of the Dave Matthews Band?
So I love music. I grew up in a family that my aunt always took me to concerts, but they were always country concerts. Like I got to meet Johnny Cash, and my first uncle toured with Ken Mellons, and we got to go to all the concerts with him and backstage. So I've always loved concerts and music. But my first Dave memory, I had to have been elementary school, and I came home from school and I was watching VH1, and I was sitting on the floor dipping my Oreo cookies in milk. This is like,
She still does that.
and I still do it, but this is so vividly clear. So vividly. And I'm watching VH1, and Crash Into Me was like one of my favorite songs. So I'm listening to this, and my grandma's doing something. I lived with my grandparents, and she goes, Alicia Elizabeth Lone, how can you listen to this filth? And I'm going, what are you talking about? Didn't even register with me. I'm like, I didn't understand it. I grew up in a very, very Christian household, and I didn't even register. And then as I got into Dave more later in life, I listened to the song, and I'm like, now I know what Grammy was talking about. Oh my goodness. Because of what it talks
in the
about.
beginning, when you first hear it, it's just so like it's kind of casual. It can drop in at a supermarket, at the library. I mean, like you could listen to it anywhere, but like if you listen to it,
You're like, oh, so my grandma listened to it and was like,
yes.
couldn't believe it. But then I got to thinking the other day, I was out in the barn doing chores, and it was in the morning, and I get up at 4:00 and go out and do chores in the barn before everybody else gets up. And Garth Brooks came on with Papa Loved Mama. And then another Garth Brooks song came on about the Thunder Rolls, about, the guy killing his wife because she cheated on him. And I'm like, but she was okay with us listening to that? So it was.
I know it is. It's those stories right there that keep me up at night. That you're like, wait a second, you didn't want me to do this, but yet you did this.
So that was my first, I remember that. I can visualize it so well. And then Dave was just always like, I hear his music. I was like, oh, I like it, but I never actively seeked it out. Like I didn't have CDs. I didn't have it on my iPod or anything like that. I just, if it was on, I always jammed out to it. Fast forward to 10 years ago, I met my fiance, boyfriend. I call him husband because fiance after 10 years just sounds pretentious. So I call my husband, Sean, and he was a huge Dave fan. Been to concerts for as long as he can remember. He doesn't keep track of his concerts, but he's a huge Dave fan. And I remember we got in a fight, and I wanted to do something really nice for him. And Dave was at Alpine. So I'm like, I bought tickets, and I'm like, honey, I got us tickets to go to Alpine, and we're going to go see Dave. And he was so excited. He's like, you're going to love it. The people, the music. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, you'll never meet a mad Dave fan. All the Dave fans are so chill. They're so relaxed. And so we went to our first Dave show, and I thought y'all were crazy.
Why specifically?
Just people are calling out songs. It's their 50th show. He'll never play this song because he doesn't play it, or he's played this song at this point. And everybody was super nice. I mean, there was one person in the bathroom that was angry, and so be it. It was funny. I'm like, he said there wouldn't be any angry people, and there was an angry chick in the bathroom. But
that's where it's usually at, in the women's restroom.
So I drank a lot, so I don't remember much of it, which later on I'll come back to what I don't remember, but he played Crash Into Me. And I was hooked. I was hooked to the band. I was hooked to the music. We played Dave on every road trip. We played Dave around the house. And I just got into it. So now when we go to concerts, I'm the crazy one. I'm calling out songs. I'm predicting what he's going to play. I plan, okay, we got to go to these places. We have to go see Dave so many times, and it's kind of became a family thing. I have a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old, Cadence and Haley. They've all been to Dave's shows. Cadence went.
Do they like it?
They like it, not as much as this guy. This guy is he gets into it like, so last year we took him and the middle one, Cadence, to Mexico. Cadence,
What?
that was their Christmas present.
Dude, you went to Dave and Tim in Mexico?
Twice.
Yeah.
He's been twice.
You've been twice, and
He's
you're
been
13.
Twice. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that I mean, I know that you don't know, but like you're really lucky. And people that are listening to this that have never gone and wanted to so badly, instant like, wow.
Yeah.
So
we get told
that's,
we're awesome
kind of
parents.
the mecca of like Dave and Tim.
Yeah. We get told we're awesome parents many times because we take them.
That's the coolest.
But so we try, so it's became like every year we try to see Dave in a different state, a different place, and we kind of make a vacation out of it. So we had the Gorge booked during COVID and it got canceled. So we decided that year we went to Madison Square Garden and saw him.
What was it? I've never been to MSG.
Oh my God. So we've been 3 times now. We went last year, Friday and Saturday night. And it was awesome and amazing. But I remember, so again, Sean's been following Dave way longer, knows the songs way better than I do. So we go to Madison Square Garden and he's been chasing Christmas song forever. So I have him, we're in Madison Square Garden paying $30-some a drink, drinking, and Dave's playing, and every time Dave plays a song, he's like, he's got to play Christmas song. It's right before Christmas. He's got to play it. And I'm talking this man off an edge of a cliff saying, it's okay, honey. Just enjoy it. We're here in Madison Square Garden. If he doesn't play Christmas song, we're in Mother effing Madison Square Garden. But he was like a toddler, honestly, about Christmas song. He wanted it so bad. And the set ended and he hadn't played Christmas song. And I'm like, I'm going to have to keep him from jumping off a bridge. He was so upset. And then Dave came out and did acoustic Christmas song.
Oh my God. Do you have a video of like, did you record him getting it?
I was crying. The 2 people. So I don't know if you've ever seen Dave in like a seated place. It's totally different. Like
Yeah.
I'm dancing the whole time Dave's playing. And sitting at Madison Square Garden, we had like the lamest people next to us our first year. And we're like,
kills the vibe.
Yeah. But then there was like these couple people up, from us, and they were dancing and they had the little green horns and the girl had the flower crown. I'm like, why can't we be by them? And then the sticks in the mud left and they came back by us. And so when he played Christmas song, they had meaning to it. And so we're all bawling with Christmas song. So we got our Christmas song and it was amazing. And then through work, Dave in Mexico was always something we wanted to do, but it's a lot of money. And so my work gives away a couple trips a year to they have a top performers dinner and they give away trips and it's kind of random and however you get picked. And my husband works for the same company and he's never got picked in this random drawing. And so I said, well, if I ever win, we're going to Dave in Mexico. So the first time we went to Dave in Mexico, my work paid for it.
Oh my goodness.
They almost didn't
That's
go though
amazing.
because the limit of the money too.
Oh yeah, so then they set a limit and Dave and Tim went over that, but the owner of the company extended it so that we could go on Dave and Tim. And that's how I got started in posters because I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. I want to have every memory. So every morning I got up, I met the coolest people in line every single morning. I didn't get the one poster because I was like, I didn't really like it. And I'll send a picture. It's the alligator one where the alligator and it's kind of like not my style. But then on the third night, I regretted not getting it because I had got the triptych. I had got the third night. I got the first night. And this amazing guy in line goes, I've got the foil of it. If you want it, I'll sell it to you for face. So I bought it. And so I got all the posters. And then we came home and then realized we have to now frame them. So my little poster habit, how expensive framing is. We went to Hobby Lobby, we got them all framed, and then we joined the poster sites.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not allowed on the poster sites anymore. So originally I was only going to do shows I'd been to. I only wanted posters for shows I'd been to. But there's the gorge foil of the running horses from, I think, 20 or 21. I can't remember the exact year because I didn't go, but it's horses. And horses are a passion and Dave's a passion. So if I can combine the two, I have to have it. So I bought that one. And then my husband liked a Madison Square Garden one. So he got that one. And we have posters from Mexico this year. We have a poster from Alpine last year. I want to still get the Deer Creek, the big-eyed fish, the year it was rained out. He went with us. And at that point, he really wanted to hear Big-Eyed Fish. He desperately
Wanted to hear that song so bad.
And so we told him, we said, okay, buddy, because he's not allowed to swear. He's only 13. We said, if Dave plays Big-Eyed Fish, you can swear with Dave. You can sing and swear with Dave. So after we went to Dave and Tim in Mexico, we had such an amazing time. The people, the atmosphere, it's beyond describable. But to sit around all day and just listen to Dave by the pool and talk to people about Dave, it's like a dream come true. So we decided for Christmas the next year, we're going to take our kids with us. So the oldest one had moved out, but him and his sister Cadence were at home. In between Mexico the first year and the second year, my daughter is a huge Taylor Swift fan. And she had only been to Dave concerts at this point in her life. She'd been to like one or two. And we got tickets to Taylor Swift. Third row on the floor. We actually got a few different sets and ended up reselling those ones. My husband sat on Ticketmaster all day long. We got him for face value. He sat online with 2 phones all day long. When Ticketmaster crashed, he didn't get off of it. And we joked and said, Dave prepared us for this moment of parenthood because of sitting online. So Dave prepared us for Taylor, but we offered her she could go one night, or she could go one night, really amazing third row seats, or she could go one night and we'll have nosebleed seats, and one night we'll have like decent seats. But Taylor is not Dave. It's going to be choreographed. It's not going to be 2 separate shows. It's going to be the same show both nights. And this was before the concert had started. I said she'll probably do an acoustic song or 2 different at each concert. Man, I nailed that one. So she decided to go holy shit all out. We went, we saw her in Minneapolis, and next to Dave, it was probably the best concert I've been to. Just her lyrics, what she does for her fans is like Dave.
I love Taylor.
They're very, very on par as far as the performances, the lyrics, and the cult following that she has. So that was really cool.
She has it.
That was cool.
I mean, there's no in between. It seems like with Taylor Swift, people either love her or hate her, and
I feel like that was Dave too. Dave's like people love him or hate him, but so we went. It was amazing. So we gave for Christmas. We got swag. So our first year we went to Mexico, we did not do this. We didn't know what swag was. We're like, what? And we got amazing swag, and it was so cool. So we said when we go back, we're taking swag. And one of my favorite swag items of that year was this coffee flavored chapstick. And if you listen and you brought it that year, my dog ate it, and I was devastated.
So a coffee flavored chapstick.
And it was it was just a Dave mat. It had Dave's sticker on it, and I don't even remember the saying, but it was the best chapstick. So we decided to do chapsticks. So we got him. It's Big-Eyed Fish, and it said every monkey should stay in his fucking tree. We had some that said Dave and Tim 2021 or 2023. Touch your lips just so I know, from Crash into Me, because it was chapstick. And then Cadence, we got a big shiny sparkly 13, and it says they told me Taylor was going to be here. ... She's not a huge Dave fan, but she was all in for a Mexico vacation, and she was a good sport. She went, she had fun, and it was a great time. So night 1, we're standing on the beach, and I look at Coley and I say, what would you do if he walked out and played Big-Eyed Fish
as the opener?
On Friday night 1. And at this point, because he was young, a lot of people we talked to knew him, recognized him, and were like talking to him. You're going to get big-eyed fish. We know it. So I said, what would you do? And he goes, we could go home. And I said, well, buddy, we're not going home on night song. So Dave comes out by himself, and
So my two favorite songs are Big Eyed Fish and Ants Marching, and then Crash Into Me. That's like my third favorite song. And then so those are my two favorite songs. So I'm hoping for either one of those songs there, and he comes out and you hear like the dur 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 dur
Yeah.
dur dur of the Big Eyed Fish, and I go insane.
He was like, he grabs my arm, so I'm on the other side of him, but I'm like, I hug him like this, and he grabs my arm, and we listen to the whole song like this because he's shaking.
Ever.
Oh, it is. It's not a Dave concert unless Mom cries. I bawled. And then it got to the part where every monkey should stay in his tree, and this little man yelled out the loudest F-bomb you ever heard. So and that's for me, like going to the concerts and listening to Dave with my family. Those songs, it's like I hear Samurai Cop, instant tears. When we're at the concerts, my kids know we just come and we just hug Mom, and we let Mom cry and sing with us. And then it's also sometimes you'll hear a song at a concert and you're like, I'm not a huge fan of that song, but then you listen to it down the road and it hits you. I just had that with Dreaming Tree. I like Dreaming Tree. It's a great song, but I never had that connection like I do with some others. And a couple weeks ago, we got it in Mexico, which we have friends from our area that's been to Mexico multiple times chasing Dreaming Tree in Mexico. She didn't go this year, and we got it, and she was devastated. But the other couple weeks ago, driving home from work, Dreaming Tree came on Sirius, and it hit me. It like instantly, I'm like, oh my God, this song. I don't know what it was about that day and that time, but now Dreaming Tree is a song for me that I liked it, but it wasn't a song. If he didn't play it, I wasn't devastated. Now it's became a song. It's getting added to my tattoo. And yeah, so it's so much fun. So yeah, so Mexico, year 2, he got Big Eyed Fish, he got Ants Marching.
So that's my first year. I got both the Ants Marching and Big Eyed Fish.
Yeah.
First year. Then this year.
So then we went back, just the 3 of us. So Sean, Cole, and I went back to Mexico this year. And we had trouble booking. They lie to you when they say that you can buy their weekend and use it during Dave and Tim and get tickets. They told us we could, so we booked the weekend, the week it was supposed to be. And they were like, okay, how do we get our wristbands? And they're like, oh, you can't do that. And I said, well, we have your little sales guy telling us, and he had videoed him saying this. And so we got our money back after a lot of fighting with them, and then we just booked through the warehouse sale. But shucks, they only had 7 nights left at that point, so we had to stay there for 7 nights.
Darn it. Only 7.
It was rough. It was really rough. So we took him with us because he actually gets it, and he likes Dave, and he enjoys it so much. So he went with us this year.
I say I'm more there for the people and the atmosphere than the actual song and Dave.
So you got your songs.
What is it about the people? I mean, I just want to hear your perspective as a 13-year-old. What you find that you like about the atmosphere and the people?
The reason why I like going to Mexico is the people. And the people, the hotel could be on fire, and they're just like, okay, we're in the pool, nobody cares. And that's my example.
He says that, I'm like, yeah, because we're all a bunch of middle-aged people that really don't care. And he loves it.
It's just a carefree place.
Yeah, it is.
And that's the way vacation should be.
Right. No, it's awesome. So this year we did poker chips. And it was just, and we hide the little pigs. So he loves to go around and hide these little pigs everywhere, and people find him and post on the group site and stuff. And he has this shot. His first year we went, we got him a t-shirt that says "Definitely Not on Drugs." And so we give him this shirt as a joke, and we're like, "Here you go, buddy." And he looks at it and he goes, "Well, that's not true." I'm like, what do you mean you're not on drugs? He goes, my ADHD medicine. I said, so, but he wears that to all the concerts, and people are like, I got to get my picture with you. This is awesome. And like, they think it's so cool. This year in Mexico, I think we kind of got him drunk though on accident.
Yeah, so I was ordering ordering lemonade, and they we're pretty sure they put something in it.
Well, no. So, they come around with the little trays, and how the hell these people find us? Because everybody's moving, right? And they find us. So I ordered whatever I was drinking. Sean ordered a Bacardi and Diet. The other couple, which I want to talk about, they ordered a couple margaritas, and he ordered a lemonade. So the little guy comes back, and he hands us our drinks, and we're like, lemonade? He goes,
there's like there's 5 cups sitting here, and he's like,
and he just grabs one. So he's drinking it, and mind you, Mom's been drinking all day. He's drinking. He's like, Mom, this is really sour.
It was really sour.
I said, Cole, shut up. It's Mexico. They don't have as much sugar and everything. It's fine. Drink it. Mom of the Year award here. So he drinks it. Yeah, he drinks it, and then he goes, my stomach feels funny. And I'm like, have some water. You'll be fine. We're in the concert. And then he was fine. I think he got a margarita. He did when we did the silent disco, because apparently at Mexico I became invincible on Friday night, and we did the silent disco, and I danced and couldn't walk the next day. But he was up on stage doing the worm. And then he proceeded to hang out and dance with his mother on stage, and we closed out the silent disco.
So the first year that we went down there, I don't know, I think it was like 1:00 in the morning there when this happened. So we're in the lobby. It's after after the show, and they're all trying to get me to do the worm, because I know how to do the worm, and they're trying.
He's very good.
they're trying to get me to do the worm, and then I finally do it.
Xavier,
the guy that does like all the jewelry for Dave Matthews. So he comes over to me, and he had a necklace on his neck, and he takes off the necklace off of his neck and gives it to me
him for doing the worm across there. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't have it on me because one of the some of it broke off.
He's fixing it. We gave it back to him in Mexico.
Yeah.
But I have 2 that I always keep on.
Yeah, he always wears his Dave Matthews necklaces everywhere.
What do you got on right now? Let's see.
You
may have to get closer to the camera. And again, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can check this out later on YouTube.
So he's got
that
one.
So he's got a Javier piece as well? Or
So that's one that they got me. And then this was this year's, and it was the turtle with the fire dancer in the shell.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Well, and it's so funny. So, as I became the crazy Dave Matthews fan that I kind of left at my first concert, and each concert, like we went to Chicago one year, and again, Chicago's not the greatest venue, but I got Gravedigger live for the first time. And it was so cool because it started raining during it. So I get goosebumps even thinking about it now. So I got Gravedigger. I was chasing Gravedigger. I got Gravedigger. And ironically enough, we got a puppy. Well, we rescued him. He was 6 months old, and we brought him home. And my dog's name is Tika, because we also have a sporting goods business, and Tika's a rifle manufacturer. And so her name's Tika. But we wanted a Dave theme for the puppy. And we were throwing all kinds of names around, and I kept saying Cyrus Jones. He's a Cyrus. And now we have a Cyrus Jones puppy, and he's going to live forever. So Gravedigger's a really, it's a meaningful song, and we love it so much. So yes, we have Cyrus Jones puppy. And it fits him.
He's going to live forever.
He is going to live forever. Tika's living forever too. But it's just kind of funny how, the name just fit him from like that first night I said it, and my husband's like, well, and we kept trying to bounce other things off, and Cyrus fits him very well.
I love.
Yeah. But then, so yes, it's awesome. But so I want to give a shout out to an amazing Facebook group. So I love reading. I read a lot. Like, it's borderline obsessive.
You have a bookshelf.
My
Great
bookshelf.
habit to have, though.
Right. But an amazing woman, Michelle, started a DMB book club on Facebook. So if you're a reader and you want to be a part of just probably one of my favorite Facebook groups, it's a DMB Facebook, and we have a book every month, and I'm always behind on the book because I can never get it from the library on time. But it's just awesome, all Dave people. And she actually was in Mexico this year, and we tried to meet up, and I did meet her, but we were walking to the concerts one night, and I'm telling somebody I'm with about this DMB book club that I'm in, and this lady goes, I'm Michelle, it's me. She just happened to be walking in front of us in her.
No
That's happened
way.
twice. So the first year we had hats that Sean got off of Facebook.
A guy made hats.
And I was talking about the hats, and the guy in front of us turns around and he goes, oh, I'm the guy that made the hats.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Right.
So what is the name of the Facebook group if someone's listening to this and they're like, that sounds awesome?
DMB Book Club.
Simple.
Yep,
Easy
simple.
peasy.
And it's
DMB
awesome.
Book Club.
But so as Michelle was getting ready to come to Mexico, she posted, so I wanted to get a tattoo. I've wanted to get a tattoo for a few years now, but I didn't, and nothing against it. I didn't just want a fire dancer or the coffee rings. Like, I wanted a piece. I wanted something meaningful to me. And so I was tossing around ideas, and Michelle posted, Xavier came out with an open book with coffee rings on one side and a fire dancer on the other side. And I was like, oh, I got my tattoo idea. So I have a book tattoo that is Dave Matthews theme, and in our hometown, so there's a lady named Holly Chase. Her daughter Hannah is a huge Dave Matthews fan. Holly's a Dave Matthews fan. So Hannah lives in Seattle now with her husband, and the first year she was at Mexico, we were at Mexico, and we never like ran into each other. We never really met each other until like the very last night. Well, we didn't know she was in Mexico this year, so we go to the silent disco, and Sean bumps into this person, and it was Hannah and her husband were there this year.
Good at bumping into people.
I know, it's crazy. So it's awesome. Hannah's amazing. Her mom is an amazing tattoo artist, and she loves Dave. So she took my idea. I said, I want a stack of books, and I want like names of my favorite songs on it. And then I want it against the lamppost of End of the World and Grace Street. And I want it to be like apocalyptic with like pages floating around. So we were talking about this thing. And then when we got there, she came up with the idea of having pictures on the pages. So for like big-eyed fish, I have a big-eyed fish.
You'll have to send it a bit.
I'll have to send you a picture so you can post it. I have a book page with a tombstone. It says Cyrus Jones and the dates. I have Break Free. I've got the coffee rings and the fire dancer. I've got ants marching. So I have 3 little ants marching across the Grace Street sign, one for each of my kids. You and Me is on there. Bartender's on there. Samurai Cop is on there. And now I want to add the dreaming tree on the other, like on the backside, to make it like a full circle picture. And I keep like thinking of, because when you read, you get pictures in your head of what the book is. So when you think of certain Dave songs, you think of pictures, like Big-Eyed Fish. You think of a big-eyed fish and different things. So it was so much fun to sit with her and come up with these pictures for these pages that represented Dave songs. And so, so I have this amazing tattoo piece now that was inspired by the book club and my love of reading and my love of Dave. So
we should start a reptile.
I can't wait to see it. Definitely send us a picture so that everyone, because I'm visualizing it in my head as you said, and that's a lot to get my head wrapped around. So I definitely want to see it.
It's like so meaningful to me. And then I love to drink coffee, so it's got a coffee cup on it. And Holly was like, Dave has a song with coffee in it. And we sat there for like 7 hours that night, and we couldn't think of the name of the song. Spoon. I'm like, oh my God, yes. So I have actually that there too without even knowing it because I have a cup of coffee. So yeah, so it was so cool. And I said, my tattoo is my final like step into the cult of Dave. Cause it's like,
I mean, there's so many levels. I don't know if you're at the last one yet, man, because you're still at home.
I'm on my way. I've turned into that. And then Sean got a tattoo this year of Dave as well. So we both have our Dave tattoos. And it's just really cool to see it. But then I should have brought it home and I didn't think of it. My first year in Mexico, I decorated a Stanley Cup with Dave pictures. And it's my water cup I use at work. And it's been amazing how something as silly as a water cup with some Dave Matthews stickers on it sparks so many conversations. So actually Friday, I had a customer come up, didn't have a fire dancer, didn't have like anything. He had a stack of what I found out were aprons, like waitress aprons in his like front seat. Cause I go up to him, I'm like, all right, weird question, but what is in your front seat? And he goes, oh, those are, waitress aprons. I'm like, oh, okay. And he goes, are you a Dave fan? I said, yes. And he goes,
Wait. You just said that?
because he saw my cup with Dave
Oh, okay,
Matthews on it. Yeah. So he goes, are you a Dave fan? I said, yes. Are you? And he goes, yes. And that proceeded the whole time his car was there. This guy, he gets it. He's like, yes. And
Did we just become best friends, right?
Yeah.
That whole thing, yeah.
Yes. And we're like, but he was like, there's people that like Dave's music, but then there's people that like the atmosphere. They like, oh yeah, you hear this song. And so it was really cool. And then we're fortunate enough to work, one of my coworkers, Jake, is a big Dave Matthews fan and he loves 41. So this year in Mexico, when 41 came on, I FaceTimed him so he could listen to 41 with us. Yeah. And I'm hoping he gets to come to some concerts with us and stuff like that. Cause it's just really cool to have another coworker that likes Dave as much as we do. My other coworker, Dakota, never been to a Dave concert in his life, decided he was going to go to Indiana with us last year. So we brought him to Indiana, and Saturday Night Indiana last year was one of my top 5 concerts. It was absolutely, the atmosphere, everything about it was electric. It was so good. So Dakota went with us to Dave last year, and he likes Dave now, and he's 25.
So he liked it.
He liked it.
Coming from like not really knowing and then going to what you just said was the best show you've ever been to. Like, did he walking away, what did he say about it?
And we love Dakota because he finds such joy in everything. We took him to a rodeo, and he goes, because he is African American, half African American, and he may kill me for this, but we joke about it. We love him. He's my adopted son because he hangs out with us all the time and stuff. And we went to a rodeo. We took him to a rodeo, and he goes, if Black people knew about this, there would be so many there. They don't know about this. And he said the same thing about a Dave concert. I'm like, Dakota. I've never been to a rodeo. Oh my God. Oh, it's they're fun. They're so much fun. We love it. But he had a blast. He has a blast at Dave. I took him horseback riding with me, and he's like, he goes, I get it. I get why you like going horseback riding. And he just loves doing everything. So it was so much fun to give him that experience with Dave, and he listens to Dave now. And so it's just so much fun how just a simple Dave, Dave, or a customer has a fire dancer in their window, and you're like, you like Dave? Yup. And then you start talking about your favorite song or your concert and stuff. It's
just that
so
instant
fun.
Connection.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it definitely
guys,
is.
I want to ask you, Cole, what is it about the music that you do like? So let's take the people away, take the atmosphere away. Let's just look at the music, like as the band. What is it that you like about them? Sometimes it's hard to put that into words too. Does it give you a feeling, or does it make you think about things? Do you like just the sounds, or do you like the lyrics, or do you like both?
All of the above. So my dad's really into hard rock, and I don't really like hard rock. And then they're into country if they're not listening to Dave. So I'm into country more than hard rock, and I feel like Dave is closer to country than a lot of other things. So I just kind of like the that fact of it, and it's not
Somewhere in the
rap
middle.
or hard rock or
Yeah.
it's its own type of music.
Well, and it's
It
funny.
is.
His dad takes him to concerts. You've seen a lot of hard rock.
Cool.
His dad took him to
And
Tool
Metallica.
and Metallica. And if you ask him, Cole, what concert would you rather go to? What is your answer?
Dave.
No, I mean, I have been to one Metallica concert, and I'm not like a Metallica fan in general. It was kind of a situation like you, like my husband's a fan, and he took me because I'm open to whatever. But Metallica had some amazing visual effects, like as far as like their at the time they had a stage that went around. So I mean, like visually it was really cool, but like the sound of it was not my jam at all. But
No.
they are different. The style that Dave dances, let's talk about that for a minute. Like no one else is dancing like Dave. Like he's kind of trademarked that move with his feet and what he does and the way he holds his guitar when he's dancing and how he looks when he doesn't have a guitar. I don't know if it's just me, but do you feel like he looks almost a little awkward when he's without the guitar?
Yes, he's very awkward.
Yeah.
And one of the best things about Mexico is the Dave speak and listening to him tell stories. And he wasn't very chatty last year. This year he was very chatty. In our first year there, he was very chatty. But this year,
because of the drugs and the bright lights. He said it.
So he came out. He was sick, and
What
he
did he
goes.
say?
He said something about, I don't know what it is. It must be the drugs and the lights tonight, because I think he had a cold. He was I think it was because he was taking medication because he'd been sick up until there. But yeah, Cole latched onto the drugs and bright lights, so that's his excuse for like everything now. Must be the drugs and the bright lights.
He's so funny. He's funny, and he's just like he's just got whatever it is,
I think
like
he's so genuine.
that thing that brings us back. But then there's all the people that are beside him or behind him that are also as equally as interesting in their own way, right? Like we know that not all of them dance like Dave or even dance in general. I don't know. Maybe seen some swaying from Rashawn, but dancing, I've not seen that. I don't think we're going to.
I played like 6 instruments growing up: piano, trumpet, flute, clarinet, different saxophones. So I love like music. I love what goes into playing at the level that they do, and to like appreciate Dave on that whole other level, just musically, instrumentally, how each single person on there is just out of this world to be at that level.
Yes.
And to see him play a trumpet with each hand, like holy cow. He's like got this one and then he's got this one, and the first time I saw that I was completely blown away, and now I watch for it in every show because it's just to be on that level is so incredibly insane. So on a music level, they're just so crazy. So that's another thing I like about them is just they're elite of the elite that can play like that. And then what song were we listening to? We went to eat yesterday and they played If I Only Had a Brain. Like, what song is that? I'm horrible with song names. But
I'd probably sleep.
But yeah, I'm like, I've never heard that version before. Rewind that. So like, they play the song and then they go off in their little like ebb and sway and everything. And they played If I Only Had a Brain, and then it went back in, and I can't remember the name of the song. But like just those little Easter eggs like that are so much fun.
Yeah, and you never know when it's going to happen because it can be when no one thinks it's going to happen. I mean, and that's another fun thing of the band. If we had to break up all the different like reasons that we follow this band, they play along with us. They are playing with us as much as we are paying attention to them, because the way that they twist things and fake outs to play with us as the audience. So it's so much of like we receive all the things that they are doing, but I believe that they are receiving right back from the energy that we're giving them. The really cool whole, you can just like feel the energy in the space because it's a lot of just back and forth. And I love that in a concert just because I've been to other people's concerts and there's just not that give and take. Usually it's just them giving. But with this band, it's all of us. Like, it's the whole thing, the
they
whole
ruined
package.
Yeah.
Concerts.
Well, I love going to concerts. Miranda Lambert, I love her. She's a horse girl. She's a country girl. I love her. I saw her. It was amazing, but it wasn't Dave.
Yeah, they kind of ruined every single concert.
So it's like every concert we go to, we're like,
they ruined you.
we're concert snobs now, because
it.
after seeing Dave and every show being so unique, you go see, we went and saw Chris Stapleton. I love his voice. Love it. His concert was horrible. He just sat up there. He played. He didn't talk to anybody. It was like I could have just pushed play on the CD and listened to the concert and it would have been okay. So I like that. But like last year when you're talking about the band give and take, last year at Mexico, Tim does his 2 acoustic songs each night, and Dave steps off stage and Tim's playing. And we were standing next to somebody that it was their 500th show, I think. And because he was getting pushed around, so they told us we could stand where they were. And we're standing there, and all of a sudden, people are singing In Your Eyes. And we're like, so the whole crowd just started singing In Your Eyes along with Tim. And it was inspiring. It was amazing. It was like the coolest thing to say I was there. I was a part of that. And seeing Dave come out on stage with tears in his eyes going, that was amazing. Like, and then like 2 or 3 songs later, he's still going, can we go back to that? Can we go back to that? And I was so disappointed he played it this year and hardly anybody even realized it.
Well, we did do the other one, the Stop. Wait, what's that sound one?
Well, Dave played that one though. I'm talking about just him playing. Yeah, that was amazing too.
That didn't stop for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was awesome. But and then Ants Marching this year with
we need a violin.
No, a mandolin. A mandolin player. We need a mandolin. Sierra Hall.
Oh, I never told you I was walking behind them.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, she was. But it was so cool. Like, but I loved watching the violin player because he's coming out on this band. Violin players usually aren't like headlining in the band. And this guy comes out and he's like, playing. And we're all waiting. Like, I can just feel the crowd. We're all like, okay, buddy, let go. You can do. And then all of a sudden he started realizing we were there for him. And he started wailing on his violin. And it was like probably my favorite with that and the mandolin. It was probably one of my favorite Ants Marching I've ever heard. Just having that mandolin and then not just having a violin player, because it did, that is something missing out of the band and stuff. But watching that guy come out of his shell, seeing that we were all there for him and watching him like start to relax and really get into it, to me, that was the coolest thing about the song that time.
That's true. I haven't thought about that, but and I'm going back to that moment. It is so true. All eyes were on him because that's not something that we get often. And if we do get it now, it's through Buddy, doing it through the keyboards, which is lovely. I love that. I love that kind of like nod to the past. And I believe that is what it is.
But it's not the same.
Also, I do believe they know that we like that.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, there's just so many like cool, I don't know, just every concert is so unique and so different, and you meet people. So on the Mexico sites this year, somebody made a post that her and her husband were coming down there and they'd been there before, and they were just she felt like people were only like, how many concerts have you been to? If you hadn't been to so many, they didn't want to talk to you. And
I know, I hate that.
I felt that way kind of our first year there. And I understood. And I said, well, I didn't know where she was from or anything. So I Facebook Messenger. I said, well, me and my husband are going to be there with our son. I'd love to meet up with you. We're not like that. We're just there to have a good time. It'd be awesome to meet up with you. So we started talking through Facebook and found out we live like an hour from each other. Yeah. So we met them down in Mexico and had a great time. They were just amazing to watch the concerts with, and they were so sweet, and it was so much fun. So it's just crazy how you can like meet people and see them and then find out you're so close together, or you share something. And so the people, I think, are almost as much as the band what people go for.
So what does 2025 look like for you guys?
Well, we did Mexico. We're doing Missouri because that's only like a 4.5 hour drive-ish for us. And then we're doing Chicago, which is kind of cool because my birthday's June 26th. So Chicago's the 27th and the 28th. We won't be able to go to Friday's show, but we'll go on the 28th and I'll be 41. So he better play 41 because I need 41. And then I didn't realize that. So I went on the DMB hub and I started logging my concerts and I realized I got Big-Eyed Fish at my very first concert.
Isn't that crazy?
But no, it's and then like, so I ride horses and my horse likes Dave Matthews. I play music while I ride and depending on my mood. So like last night so Two Step is a very good trotting song. And when Two Step comes on, he like matches the beat and he matches. I don't know if it's because I relax and he relaxes, but depending on a song, he will like pick the pace of the song or he'll hit the song with the beats. And he can be like, we'll be at a show and he'll be jacked up and I put Dave on and he just like calms down. I know it sounds really crazy and maybe it's because it calms me down. He loves Dave Matthews. So yeah, so I go horseback riding and I listen to Dave, which is kind of funny because primarily horse people are country people. So I'll put Dave on my speakers and people are like,
Dave can sway a little country, like we talked about earlier.
well, yeah, but people don't really know who he is. So like I'm jamming out. I got my speakers on the outside of my trailer and I'm jamming out and people like have no idea what I'm listening to, but me and the horse are happy.
That's the weird thing about Dave. He's so famous, but so unknown.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the name or the name of the band, like
Coworker, and he's like, is he one of those jam bands? I'm like, yeah, he's I guess he's a jam band, but it was kind of funny. So yeah, so we're doing Missouri and Chicago. Those will be our concerts this year.
I'll be at both of those shows. St. Louis is just a 5-hour drive for me, so I'll be in St. Louis. I'm excited about that show. And if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I'm going to be in St. Louis, stay tuned to all the Facebook and Instagram pages for the Space Between podcasts because I am going to be doing some fun things in St. Louis. And then I will be at the Chicago shows. Hopefully, I got tickets.
Yay!
So I got to both nights. So I've never been there before. And I've always heard that the venue is terrible. But I still want to go just to check it out for myself.
Sean doesn't want to go with me on Friday. I want to go to Friday show, and we are going down there Friday night because we take our dogs with us. I mean, they'll be in Missouri too with us, but we take our dogs with us, so we're checking in Friday night. So I'm like, I'll go by myself. Like,
I'll go.
I have right no. Yeah. Well, and I'm like, I'll meet people. I'm the person now. I at Alpine, I get my little, blanket or whatever, and then I'll be like, hey, you can join us, and like, where are you from? And I start talking to everybody around us, and I try to like collect a fun group of people to party with. But honestly, that is one of my goals and it's going to be hard because Sean likes Dave too, but I would really like to go to a Dave weekend by myself. I could just read all day, go to the concert, just because you're not by yourself and you meet people, and I think it would just be really fun. I had my kids young, so it's like I feel like now that they're older, I'm still young enough where I can go do all kinds of fun stuff.
You're only 40. You're still so young, despite what your teenagers may tell you. My children constantly tell me that I'm old.
Yeah, no, he's a pretty good kid, but he had to do chores all weekend, so he's 13.
Of course.
Well, and then that's the other thing. Like, he gets up at 5 o'clock every morning, gets himself ready for school, and then goes out and waters and feeds cows and helps me with the horse chores. So taking him to Mexico is just like, he works so hard every single day around the house and does stuff and is good in school and everything. So it's like, yeah, we'll take you to Mexico. You like it. So he's a good kid.
And Mexico's like the allowance. And I mean, what an allowance is that?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yep. I don't think we're going to go next year though. I'm having a little FOMO, but I don't know. I think we're gonna try Gorge next year. I think we're gonna not do Mexico and go to Gorge.
Need to do both. Yeah, I mean they're so so wonderful, but yet so very opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
But still beautiful, and the same band and the same people. Just like as far as the surroundings, no one's bringing you a drink at the venue. Right? Okay.
No.
Which so it's just a different thing. So we're gonna switch topics for just 1 second and then we're gonna have a little fun.
Okay.
do some trivia, see how we're doing as far as remembering, because we've so much history with this band over 30 years. So there's so many things, but I always look at trivia as an opportunity. If you don't know the answer, that's cool because it gives you an opportunity to find out more about this band, and then you will know it. And it's usually pretty interesting things because we've got so many dudes up on stage that have pasts that were doing things before the Dave Matthews Band. So think about Buddy and all of the people that he's worked with in the past. And even the Dave Matthews voice coach, like how many people he works with on the regular. So, it's so much collaboration. If you've never listened to this podcast before, you'll know that this podcast is a collection of stories of as many fans of the Dave Matthews Band that I can get. So, what will I be doing with all of this information other than just letting it sit on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube? Well, we're actually taking clips from several of the episodes and we're making a documentary about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band, but also not really. What we're doing is we're talking about the correlation between mental health and music and how music can be a tool to help. And so, with the help of a lot of people, my producer who is in Ohio, we've got some doctors, some social workers, me as a nurse are making a documentary about the correlation between music and mental health. But of course, with the Dave Matthews Band being the band that we're going to talk about because it's all of our favorite bands. So stay tuned, get excited about this project. We're thinking maybe 2 more years before the release. So that's what we're doing with these stories. So if you're interested in sharing your story, your journey with the Dave Matthews Band, definitely send me a message on any of the social medias because who knows, if you give us permission, part of your story might be in this documentary as well. So definitely reach out to me. And there's never been a better time to be alive that we are here when the Dave Matthews Band is still playing and still has a future in playing, obviously, since we have dates for 2025. So we're going to enjoy it while we can. So guys, before I let you go, we're going to test your knowledge with some DMB trivia. How about that? Okay, guys, let's see. We'll start out like level 1, okay? Just level 1, and then we'll see how advanced you guys are. I don't have these in any particular order, and I didn't pick out some. So as I'm flipping through the pages, just be like, put your thinking cap on. When I ask this question, what we're going to do is so it can be fun for the people that are listening to this in their car or home or when they're jogging or cleaning the house, whatever you're doing. Let's make it fun for our listeners. So when I ask the question, if you know the answer right away, cool, that's awesome. But just hold on. Let's give the listeners a couple of seconds to think about it, and then we'll talk about the answer. And if you don't know, that's okay too, because again, you'll know something new.
We'll learn.
Okay. So in 2005, which was 20 years ago, so Cole, this would have been before you, but you may know the answer, so hold on. In 2005, Dave Matthews actually appeared in a movie that is often shown in elementary schools. Do you know the name of that movie? Which was also based on a book.
And it had a dog.
I know the movie. I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name. I know the movie though.
Mm-hmm. Can I say it? I knew it.
I know the movie. I know like what we're talking about. I just don't know the name of it.
You're gonna know it as soon as Mama says it.
Because of Winn-Dixie. I can't believe I remembered that.
Yeah.
Excited when my daughter brought that book home. I was like, forget the book. We have to watch this. Dave Matthews is in it. She's like, Mom. It's like the one time I could get her to sit down and watch anything with Dave Matthews in it. Okay, here we go. That was good. You did a good job, Cole. I know you knew it, but it was hard coming up with that. Okay. What song contains the lyrics, I've got a bobblehead Jesus? So one more time, there's a song that is sang by the Dave Matthews Band. Some of the lyrics are, I've got a bobblehead Jesus. What song is that from? If I sang it, it would probably be easier, but no one wants that.
I can't place it, and I'm usually pretty good with lyrics.
I don't think I've ever heard the song in my life.
It's probably a common one, and we just...
I don't, as far as commonly played, I would say it's in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, it's usually not.
Yeah, no,
That's okay.
I
I'm
don't.
gonna tell you, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah.
So there's a song that is so fun to listen to them play. It's called "Joyride." Are you familiar with the song?
Yes. Now, yes. Then it. Yes.
I got a bobblehead Jesus.
Yes.
Get on
If you
your
would have.
knees.
Yes.
Yes, you're
If
hearing
you would
it
have sung it
now.
like that, I would have known it.
I've
I know.
But I didn't want to sing it because it makes it easier. All right, that was pretty good. What was the name of the very first album that the Dave Matthews Band released?
Can I say it?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's Crush.
I was.
That's the name of the album.
That's what I was gonna say too.
So before that, and this will give you some homework to look up. Maybe you're going to already know the songs that are on it. There was an album called Remember Two Things, and it has some of the most common Dave Matthews Band songs, ones that they came up with in the very beginning. So here's some homework.
Yes.
Get
we
it
gotta
on
listen to that.
Apple Music, Spotify, wherever. And this is
Remember
a
Two
very young Dave Matthews Band singing some songs that you are definitely going to know. So give it a listen to because
Yes.
I think
I
it's
did not
fun
know
to
that.
hear the like progression in their voices. And Dave, or hell, any of them do not sound the same as they did back
Oh
in
no.
the 90s. They
No.
sound completely different. As I do, as you do, as we all do. So remember two things. That would have been the very first one. Okay, here we go. One more, and then we're going to wrap up this episode of the Space Between podcast. Again, if you are interested in sharing your journey and you would like to be on the show and possibly be in the documentary that we are working on, reach out to me on social media and just say, "Hey, I want to share my journey." You do not have to have been to any shows. There's no qualifications. You just have to like the Dave Matthews Band. That's pretty easy. And if you don't like the Dave Matthews Band, I don't know why you're listening to this, but thank you for listening. Okay, let's see, guys. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, here we go. Last question. This is for all the points. Here we go. What country is Dave Matthews originally from? And did you know that he's not originally from the United States?
I did.
Cole, did you know that?
Nope.
I feel like we've talked about it. Because one of my favorite Sirius is when he did his New York, the small, like you could win tickets to go see him, like one-on-one.
Oh my gosh.
It was a few years ago, and I listened to it, and it's actually one of my favorite performances to listen to because he talks about like growing up in his growing up in a very religious family, but he's not religious, but all of his songs have so much religion in them, and he just doesn't know why. He just doesn't know why, and it was just really cool. But he talked about this, so I know the answer. Wasn't it? I know it's Africa, but South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa. So Johannesburg.
Thinking about it when one of Scylla's friends, her boyfriend's from South Africa too. We were talking about it, so I thought you knew that. Sorry. You don't listen when I talk.
I mean,
But yeah.
obviously you could never tell by his accent. I actually heard someone the other day say that Dave Matthews' accent is a little Southern. And I have never, ever, ever heard that because I'm from the South. Never heard anyone say that. But I can see like where you might, if you'd only ever heard like Louisiana Bayou or Cornbread, totally understand why you think that he might be like, because some songs are that way. But yeah, South Africa. But obviously he's lived in the United States for the largest portion of his life. Well, guys, you did so well. If trivia is fun because I hope that you at least learned a few things. Mama, you already knew some things, but Cole, now you know a few more things. And I can't thank you for, first of all, being brave enough to be on your very first podcast. I'm glad it was the Space Between. I hope that in 30 years when, who I'm sure YouTube will still be around, or who knows what'll be happening in 30 years, but that you can look back on this and your 13-year-old self talking about a band that you and your family love and that you've done some things. Hopefully that'll bring back some more memories to you. So I hope that this has been as much fun for you guys as it has been for me.
Yes, no, it's been awesome. It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, guys, again, if you're interested in sharing your journey on the Space Between podcast, please just shoot me a message and stay tuned. A lot of things are coming up just next week. It's this week. I'm on the road with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band, so stay tuned for more information about that. But, guys, in the meantime, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.